So, if you're into K-dramas or K-pop, you've definitely noticed all these new, super catchy words popping up, right? Well, guess what? They're not just trendy slang. Think of them more like a secret code, a linguistic key that unlocks what's really going on with the massive social and cultural shifts happening in South Korea today.
All right, let's kick things off with a great one. gu-eun-gu. You might have seen this around. It's an abbreviation for a phrase that basically means styled, but like you didn't style it. You know that look? That effortlessly chic vibe where you look amazing, but it seems like you didn't try at all? That is gu-eun-gu.
It's a cool word, for sure. But it gets you thinking, doesn't it? What if these new words are more than just, fun slang? What if they're actually little clues, like a mirror, reflecting the biggest hopes, the deepest anxieties, and the major changes happening in a whole society? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
All right, let's jump right in. First up, we're looking at words that are totally redefining life, love, and even loneliness in modern Korea.
Okay, first up is so haek-dang. This one means small but certain happiness. And wow, does this say a lot? In a world with so much pressure to hit these huge, grand goals, this word is all about a cultural shift. It's about finding real joy in the little things. You know, that perfect cup of coffee in the morning, or the feeling of getting a window seat on the bus. Those tiny, guaranteed moments of happy.
And then there's warabe. This is literally the Korean version of work-life balance. Now, you have to understand, in a country known for its really intense work culture, this word isn't just a buzzword, it's kind of like a quiet rebellion. It's a huge statement, especially from younger generations, saying, hey, my personal life, my own time, that's just as valuable as my job.
Now this is a perfect example of how one little change in a word can show a massive social shift. For the longest time, the word for an unmarried person was mihon. The mi part implies not yet, so the assumption was always that you'd get married eventually. But now, a new word is common, pihon, and this bi means to not be. It's a conscious choice. See the difference? It's a move from societal expectation to individual choice. It's huge.
And this whole focus on the individual has created an entire family of words starting with hon, which means alone. So you get honbap, eating alone, honsol, drinking alone. These are things that used to be seen as, well, a little sad to do by yourself. But these new words completely normalize them. It's not about being lonely, it's about being independent.
Okay, so from personal life, let's switch gears and talk about something just as important in Korean culture, food. Because, when a society changes, you can bet its tastes are going to change too.
But first, to really get the next couple of words, you need to know this one number. 367. That is the number of cups of coffee the average South Korean drinks every single year. Just to put that in perspective, that's more than double the global average. We're talking about the second highest rate in the entire world. Coffee is serious business. And that coffee obsession gives us this absolutely fantastic word, 얼추가. It's an acronym for a phrase that translates to, even if I freeze to death, it's iced Americano for me. I'm not kidding. It's become like a badge of honor, a whole identity for people who drink iced coffee even in the middle of a freezing winter. And language can even turn a simple meal into a nationwide debate. Take sweet and sour pork, a super popular dish. A huge, playful argument has broken out. Are you a bul-meong, someone who pours the sauce all over everything? Or are you a jik-meok, a dipper who likes to keep it separate? It's a fun, low-stakes way to pick a side and have an identity. This next one shows how a word's meaning can totally evolve. So, goguma just means sweet potato. Simple, right? But think about eating a big, dense, starchy sweet potato. It can feel kind of heavy, maybe a little frustrating to get down. Well, that feeling has been transferred to describe a frustrating situation. So if you're watching a K-drama and the plot is just dragging and getting nowhere, you'd say the story is being a total goguma.
All right, for our last category, let's look at how new words are actually shaping the physical world, from fashion all the way to where people want to live.
And this word, sulsekwang, is just brilliant. It mashes up the word for slippers with a term that means in the station's area, which is prime real estate. So what is a sulsekwang? It's a neighborhood where all the good stuff, cafes, convenience stores, maybe the subway, is so close to your apartment that you can just go in your slippers. It's the ultimate urban dream, total convenience.
So we've looked at all these cool specific words, for happiness, for eating alone, for coffee, for where you live. But now let's zoom out. If we put all these little linguistic puzzle pieces together,
What's the bigger picture they're painting for us?
Well, when you really look at them all together, they're not random at all. A clear pattern emerges. In fact, these words point to two massive, and in some ways conflicting, trends that are shaping the entire nation.
The first trend is this huge, powerful shift towards individualism. Think about it. Worabel for valuing personal time. Soak-heng for finding your own small joys. Hunbab for embracing solo activities. And pihon for making marriage a personal choice. All of these point away from a traditional group-first culture and put the focus squarely on the individual's life and happiness.
But there's another side to the story. The language is also revealing something much darker. A growing feeling of deep social and economic division. It's almost like society is being pulled in two opposite directions, creating two totally different Koreas.
And at the heart of this trend is a pretty bleak concept called sujeon, the spoon theory. It's this cynical idea that your success in life isn't determined by your own hard work, but by the spoon you were born with. Basically, how wealthy your parents are. The belief is that your path is pretty much set from birth, which, as you can imagine, leads to a lot of frustration and resentment.
This theory created its own vocabulary of class. You're either a gumsuja, a gold spoon, born into a rich family, or you're a huksuja, a dirt spoon born into a poor one. And these aren't just obscure terms. They become common, everyday shorthand for talking about this feeling that your economic fate is sealed.
And you see this division most clearly when it comes to housing. On one side, you've got that dream we talked about, living in a silsik one, that perfect slipper area. But on the flip side, there's a much harsher reality for a lot of people. And it's summed up in one, frankly, heartbreaking word.
That word is jiokgo. Now, on the surface, it's an acronym for three types of cramped, low-cost housing: basements, rooftop rooms, and tiny dorm-style rooms. But here's the devastating part. When you say it out loud, jiokgo sounds almost exactly like the Korean phrase for the suffering of hell. So this word isn't just describing a place to live, it's describing deep, emotional pain. And really, that's the whole point, isn't it? These new words prove that language is anything but static. It's a living mirror, and it reflects everything. A society's biggest dreams for personal freedom and, at the very same time, its deepest fears about inequality. And it really makes you think, right? If you started paying close attention to the new words popping up all around you in your own language, what would they reveal about your world? And more importantly, what clues would they give us about where we're all headed?